we had arrived at Cofan cabin under a blanket of darkness. It really was a big push to get us through not only the portage at the end of the day before, but also when we got to the end of the portage and the sky was pink and the cove was filled with rocks that we knew we had to get through in pretty much darkness and with a fairly healthy wind, a headwind. But we made it. We got supper into us and we went right to bed. So we were very happy that we had scheduled a day to spend at Cofan cabin without travel. I still felt pretty nervous that if we took this day to not travel, we would pay for it in the end and not make good enough time to reach our destination as we continued the trip. But Cofan cabin was so inviting that I couldn't say no.
I'm not sure if I dreamt it, but I'm pretty sure I pulled off 2 ticks last night and almost had crawling on my face.
Nice.
I hope I killed them.
I'll let you go, just need some time. At your own pace, you need to find your way. I know now you'll never change your mind for something that matters to me. You do not know what I have in mind. I packed our bags, we'll be on our way. The night was long as I waited without a sign. 'Cause I know what matters to you. But what do you want? What's your biggest need? Every hour we spend together, then suddenly the chances are small, just like the lottery.
We visited a number of large rock formations in the area. I don't know what happened during the Ice Age in this particular area, But from Cofan Cabin, and even more so when we got further into our trip, there were just huge rocks everywhere, in the water, on the shore. It gave a really bizarre feeling to come across something so large in the middle of nowhere that wasn't man-made, that had been there for centuries and would be there for centuries. It gave a feeling of humility, for sure. And it was so fun to explore. You're taking a poop in here? Is that what you said?
I don't know if I touched the. I squished a poop. Like way down in there, there's poop.
Oh, somebody's living down there. I think, is it porcupines? I think that poop like that. They leave piles just outside of their dens. I think it's porcupines. It's nice and cool in here. Sunday morning had been hot, sticky, and humid. On our bushwhack through the woods to find big rocks, it started to sprinkle on and off, and the air completely changed. It got cooler, but I was happy to hear the rain on the roof of the cabin and enjoy the heat of the little tiny stove. It was a cozy night. Monday morning, time to start traveling again, and we had another big portage to finish off this day. So we started the day with some leftover cinnamon bun bannock that I had made the night before. I've been to a few places in my life that feel so special. They just have an emotional connection to them. And those places often feel that way to many people, but I think everyone feels like it's just them. Like that special friend who makes you feel like you're the most important, but you know they make everyone feel like they're the most important. I feel like Cofan Cabin is one of those places. I felt connected to it, but I know that I'm not the only one. Traditional toast to the river gods, hoping that it might bring us some good fortune in the day's events. And then we had to say goodbye to this beautiful cabin. We had places to go and things to do, but of course we couldn't pass up climbing up on more big rocks, and the view was worth it. It was nice to get off the choppy lake and onto the flat, calm stream. But it really didn't matter what the wind was like because we were going to be portaging far more than we got to paddle. What I've documented here is pretty much the gist of the paddling that we got to accomplish on this day. This was a very pretty area and probably would have been my favorite portage, except for the blowdowns. They were everywhere, and it made carrying a canoe, even on the short portage, pretty difficult. And just when we found water and thought we'd get to paddle again, we didn't get to go far before it was just more portaging. Come straight to the water. The portage trails were also deteriorating at a rapid pace, which was really fun. And then more rocks. So Monday's route was pretty short, but of course required a lot of portaging. It took us from Cofan Cabin on Sand Beach Lake to Cofan Lake. I thought for sure there was a misunderstanding or someone effed up on the maps at some point, but there were no sand beaches on Cofan Lake either. I don't know what happened. Either way, I can honestly say that I don't have very fond feelings about Cofan Lake. Cofan Lake was littered with rocks, which is fine. It was also surrounded by hardhack, which is not so great. But I think the biggest factor in my lack of fondness for Cofan Lake was the fact that it was followed by another large portage. If not obvious, all of the red squiggles on the maps are portages. This one felt much more difficult than the one the day before, even though it was slightly smaller. So they say. Oh, but we did it. We did it.
But real portaging looks like.
It's not fun.
Evidence.
Don't do it. Stay home. Watch Netflix. Get fat.
We didn't take many videos on this portage, but we got to camp. We didn't go back for the canoe until the next morning. I needed to patch up my feet, which were getting in pretty rough shape, and it was supper time. And honestly, we wouldn't have made it back before dark. Was it worth the pain, the hard work, and the blisters? That's a big hell yes.
Hey, I found my heart again. You were standing there, you bravely let me in. I could wait a million years or more until you came knocking at my door. It's hard to be